24 Board of Education meeting. May I ask you to please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First up will be our approval of our agenda. May I get a motion? Henry, second. Katie. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 6-0. Next up is our superintendent's report. Mr. Poole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. For the first part of my report, I'm going to turn it over to our ex officio student trustee, Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. First, let me start at this meeting with telling all of you who I am. So, thank you all for this opportunity of being an ex officio member. I applied because really this is an excellent learning experience. This is the kind of first hands down on the ground moment where I get to participate in some form of government, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Outside of just this, I'm the JV captain of our school's brainstormer team, and I am an active member in the National Honor Society. Outside of school, I dedicate my hours to church community service activities, specifically within the Shoreham-Wading River area. And then now looking to the future, some of the goals that I have, I really want to attend St. Joe's University. It's been a university that I've had my eye set on for a long time. And specifically while at St. Joe's, I'd like to dual major in history and psychology. The application process to St. Joe's has been wonderful. Some teachers I'd like to mention, Ms. Gianfala, Mr. Ball, Mr. Malvagno, and the most wonderful guidance counselor ever, Mr. Rosado, have all been immensely helpful in the college application process. So I'm really looking forward to my acceptance letter to St. Joe's, and yeah.
A little plug.
So moving on to the student report, let's start off with something that we all love, sports. Our teams have kicked off this year, at the beginning of this year, with excellence. Our first shout out goes to the SWR girls soccer team. They rank number 2 across the entire New York State. To put that into perspective, that means they are better than 730 other districts across the entirety of New York State. This year, they started off with 2 consecutive wins. Next, we have to talk about our field hockey team. Our varsity field hockey team is doing wonderful. They have won 8 games. They've remained undefeated so far across the entire year. And the most recent game they have won against, or team they won against, is Rocky Point with a score of 3-0. Of course, we can't neglect to mention about the fan favorite football. So homecoming is great. We beat the opposing team, John Glenn, with a score of 42-36. Another spectacular performance by our school's football team. Oh, and thank you to the PTSA for the awesome neon-themed shirts. I have mine, not on currently. So just a quick note, all varsity games that are on the turf or in the gym are being live streamed on the SWR Athletics YouTube channel. And on top of that, we've been getting some great crowds that come to the home games. So now, in keeping with the school spirit, I'd like to talk about Pep Rally. Amariah Burtz, Karen McGuire, and Savannah Roth were our amazing hosts who put together the groundwork for getting Pep Rally started. During Pep Rally, there was a 4-way tie between the 4 grades, and of course the seniors won because we're just better. But yeah, we won Pep Rally. Seniors won. In other news, I would like to mention the school play, Joseph and the Amazing Tricolor Dreamcoat, which will be performed the 24th, 25th, and 26th of October. From what I hear, they're doing great work. Both my friends Kyle Schiff and Andrew Wicks will be actors in the play. And they're great. They're great at what they do. I'm very excited to see them. And I can't neglect to mention the Pitt Orchestra. Liam McQuaid, Eden Hu, and Abigail Haverty are my friends who are in Pitt. They're simply amazing at what they do. And the music will be as good as it's been previous years. Now, specifically, I want to congratulate Eden Hu for being recognized as Commended Scholar in the National Merit Scholarship Program. What this means is that Eden placed in the top 2 to 3% of all students nationally. Now, I would be cross if I didn't mention the school book drive that is being hosted by our community relations class, for which I am a part of. We have seen remarkable success throughout the entire school system. A large amount of books, and we are excited that we anticipate that we'll see more. A couple more things is the yearbook is starting to come together for the class of 2025, with a senior photo being scheduled for Monday, the October 21st. Club Fair will take place next week, Monday, starting at September 29th through Wednesday, the 1st of October. Students will have the opportunity to learn about the many club options at the high school. And finally, I would like to thank Mr. Poole and all other board members for inviting me out to this meeting. Thank you all, and I'm excited to have just delivered my first ex officio report.
Well done.
Way to go. Thank you, Nick. And back to Mr. Poole.
Well, I gotta follow that?
Yeah, that's right, yeah, I know.
Let me fix my tie.
Mr. Poole, should we move him over there?
I might have to give the whole report.
Yeah, you know, Nick,
that way.
Nick, why don't you sit next to
Wanna run
Mr.
the
Poole?
show?
Well, over to the middle school open house was a great success last week. Thank you to the middle school PTO for organizing a very seamless picture day this week for the classes and students. And not just are the varsity and JV teams doing really well, the middle school athletic teams are off to a great start. Both football and field hockey won their first game, so go Wildcats all around, 7 through 12 in the school district. Over at Wading River, fourth graders are exploring the Fire Island ecosystem as they study the Central Barrier Island, including zaning in the Great South Bay this week. Yesterday, our fourth grade scientists caught and studied and released many fish, including a pufferfish, northern pipefish, and even eels while they were there. Wading River students enjoyed marching in the homecoming parade this past weekend, and in addition, they were all smiles as they had their picture day earlier today as well. Over at Miller Avenue, students showed their school spirit this past weekend as well, joining in the homecoming parade. It was a pretty cool parade with all the buildings and grades represented, thanks to the parents, students, and faculty that joined in on the fun. I appreciate everybody coming out to march in the parade. Second graders had their class picture on Monday, and picture day for all students was today. And Miller Avenue is hosting a Bash the Trash assembly on Wednesday, September 25th. And the first grade students will be visiting Cedar Beach on Thursday, September 26th. And finally this evening, and we're looking forward to it, we have a very cool update for our science research program from Ms. Schaefer and the independent science research students. So looking forward to that as well. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. And just to add on to your comments, Nick, welcome, and good luck getting into St. Joseph's. I think we're all on board with that. And I'm glad this is your first entrance into what I'll call public service, if you will. It sounds like you're already involved in our community, and I admire that. So continued success, and look forward to more vibrant updates like you've had tonight. So thank you for that update on the high school and whatnot. So good stuff. Not that yours, Mr. Poole, wasn't enlightening and fun and all,
I
but
don't think I hit the bar, though.
Nick's available.
I'll have to work on that.
Just teasing. Very good. Well, speaking of reports and updates, oh, by the way, any opportunity for board members? Go ahead.
I just want to
Mike,
quickly
please.
shout out and thank the Wildcat Athletic Booster Club for opening and operating the concession stand.
Absolutely.
It's a great group of volunteers. In the past, they've just been open for football games primarily, but
Right.
this year, with the help of volunteers like Mr. Lockhart working the register,
Nice.
they've been able to be open for most of the events.
That's
and
great.
It's really great seeing the kids and the students come up to the concession stand, and we typically try and work out the change with them, and it's really great for the community. So I want to thank all the volunteers that help out with that concession stand. So.
Well-deserved recognition, Mike. I completely agree. Thank you for all the dedication yourself, the hours that you put in. I'm sure, Jim, how'd you do on register? You do okay with that?
His register was light.
All right.
No, I'm just joking. No, it was perfect. It was perfect.
I'm just teasing. We always could use volunteers, for that goes out to the community. Volunteerism amongst all of us is here. Love to see more volunteers show up and help out, because having that available, Mike,
Yeah.
during the day, I'm sure it's a great.
Football's rough. Jim jumped in. Football is
Yeah.
the
busy.
line can go back to the fence, so he did it.
Wow.
Great
There were
job.
1,000 people there for
Yeah.
homecoming.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a busy night.
That's great.
So.
Well, again, thank you to Wildcat Athletic Club for all they do, and for the volunteerism there, too. Very good. Any other opportunity for board members? Anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any statements from residents on the agenda tonight?
Not right now, no.
Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, I'm going to continue. What do we have about next reports and reviews? Looking forward to this one. We have our science research program update, Ms. Dana Schaefer and the students that are involved. Looking forward to this. Spark.
I'm always too short for this microphone.
It's all good.
All right.
Welcome, everyone.
All right, well, thank you guys for having us out. And just to reflect on the concession stand, I can tell you that the boys cross-country team definitely partaking after practice. My son has come home about 5 times. I had a hot dog right after I ran. I was like, perfect, that sounds great to me. So thank you for having us out to kick off the year. And we wanted to just give you an idea of where we were this summer, what we were doing this summer, because as I mentioned in June, science doesn't rest during the summertime, so we were all pretty busy. And I brought a few of my students with me this year to let you know what they've done and what they're planning on doing. So this past summer, we had 4 of our rising second year students participate in our annual Summer Spark program. Timmy Nigrella is here to let you know what they did there and how that's going to influence what they're working on for this coming year. We had one of our rising third year students participate in the Peconic Bay Medical Center internship that Juliana did last year, getting a chance to experience the different specialties in the hospital and help him determine whether or not he really wants to pursue a career in medicine. So that was an awesome experience for him. One of our rising fourth years also started volunteering at Peconic Bay Medical Center through the ED Ambassador or Emergency Department Ambassador program, again, to kind of give her an idea of whether or not she was interested in pursuing a career in medicine. And then we had 2 interns through our research program at BNL for the summer in the high school research program, and Juliana is here to talk to you about her work there this summer at the National Synchrotron Light Source. We also had Sasha Soletskaya over at RIC, which is the in the physics realm over at BNL during the summer. And then I was there for about 4 weeks myself, part of a training program for Python coding called Making Sense of Sensors in Scientific Investigations. So this is an ongoing program that I've been part of for the past 2 years as a pilot, and it's going to continue on into the future. We are really putting an emphasis on incorporating scientific computing in our curriculum as STEM teachers, because there's a great need for our students to understand not just coding, but scientific computing, calculations, mathematics, in order to really prepare them for future careers in STEM. So that's something that I'm really excited about being part of. And I'll finish off and let you know where we're going with that after my students give you an idea of where they've been this summer.
Very good.
Hey, Timmy.
So I'm Timmy, and I'm representing the first year for Spark students. So what we kind of did is, well, first we kind of got a tour of the synchrotron light source. And got to kind of view it, and we kind of got to work with the IR. So the picture in the middle is Hayden Endeavor, also a Spark student, who is extracting microplastics in our project of comparing the amount of microplastics in carrots and potatoes. In the picture over there, you have Connor, who's also a student, who is taking the microplastics off the filtering the filter papers, and then that's me and Hayden over there. And that final picture, I'm analyzing the results that we've collected, and from the IR microscope from the IR spectroscopy.
That's pretty neat. Timmy, can I ask you a question? So did you find microplastics in any of these?
Yeah, we found more compared in the carrots, more in the potatoes, and then also another student, Spencer. He was in a different project in Spark about examining the amount of microplastics in, I think, the top and the bottom shells of oysters.
Wow, that's something. Interesting.
Thank you.
Original. So me, Spencer, Connor, Hayden are going to be working on, are going to collab on a project this coming up the year. So our project is kind of going to be isolating microplastics from like store-bought meats. So our kind of goal is kind of identifying and like looking how many microplastics are really in these meats, and kind of because we eat so much meat and all that kind of stuff, and my own microplastics, what kind of microplastics are there, and because the kind of microplastics do poison us, it's pretty dangerous, and we can kind of see like how like these can affect us, and like we can also when we try comparing like other kind of meats like chicken, fish, and beef products, and different cuts of the meat, so kind of maybe we can compare other places like the liver, the intestines, the stomach, and other muscles, and kind of compare how many and what kind of microplastics are in each area.
Wow, very intriguing. I
Okay,
don't
where
think,
where will you have the science board up so that we can actually see the conclusions? Where will you have it presented at all?
Yeah, Long Island Science Congress. Yeah, I believe there. Is there any other place?
We've always we'll present here. The
Okay,
last week, sorry, the first week of June, the last week of classes, we do our annual research symposium that we would love for you guys to join us at.
Yeah, that would be
Right
amazing.
here in the library. And then I just started hanging some posters outside of my classroom down in Ewing to kind of let everybody see what some of our students have been working on.
Thank you.
very interesting work. Timmy, thank you. What do you think you're gonna find, Timmy? Do you have any thoughts?
I kind of, well, for like the cuts of the meats, kind of, our group's kind of predicting kind of how there's going to be more like the liver and the stomach kind of, because that's where like the food gets digested into, but like we still predict there will be a decent amount in like the bloodstream and in like other tissues and muscles because of like how they eat and what they eat kind of, and how the microplastics will be on the grasses and all the stuff that they eat is, so then like they'll get into other areas of the body that way.
So the fish is interesting for me because I know when I shop, there's farm-raised fish and there's wild-caught fish. I'm curious if you guys distinguish the two when you test the fish. You know, as far as is it more microplastics in wild
That's
than
a
there
good
would be
question.
farm-raised?
So they're still trying to decide what their essential question is going to be, which types of things they're going to be comparing. So that is something we can talk about tomorrow in classes, whether or not farm raised versus wild caught would be a difference.
Or different types of organic meat.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a big push towards organic and all natural, and
intrigued.
grass-fed and all that. So that's one avenue to go down.
Nice.
Well, good luck with your research, Timmy. We look forward to hearing your updates as the year goes on.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Hello, my name is Alex. I'm in my third year of science research here at the high school, and my current project focuses on the effect of different environmental factors on the chemical degradation of lithium-ion batteries.
Wow.
So to start, lithium-ion batteries are rechargeable batteries that are used in a lot of modern technology. So cell phones, laptops, electric vehicles, all of those use lithium-ion batteries to store their electrical energy. And this makes them very important for the transition to renewable energy, since they can store the energy generated by renewable sources. So despite all of their benefits, lithium-ion batteries have some drawbacks. Most notably, these batteries have a tendency to degrade over time, so they lose the amount of energy they're able to store. And previous research has found that these batteries, the rate of degradation of these batteries is actually increased by certain factors, especially heat and cold. So what my project aims to do is to look at how a hot environment and a cold environment affects the capacity of lithium-ion batteries. And more specifically, I will also be looking at what changes on a chemical level happen inside the battery that lead to this degradation. So to start, I built and programmed my own circuit to charge and discharge these batteries, to automate that process of charging and discharging, which is called cycling. And I will cycle, I've already started this step, so I cycled the batteries in the hot environment, simulated with an incubator, and a cold environment, simulated with a freezer. And so this is the point in the project where I am right now. And my next steps are to use a battery capacity tester to observe what change in capacity occurred. And I will cycle the batteries until I observe a significant decline in capacity. And after the capacity decline has been observed, I will be using X-ray powder diffraction at Brookhaven National Laboratory. That's a technique to look at the chemical composition of different substances, in this case batteries.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be using that to see what changes occurred inside the battery and draw conclusions from that about what causes this decline in capacity.
Very neat.
Do you do a baseline on that?
Sorry?
Do you test it first and then the
Yeah.
chemical makeup?
Mhm.
Okay.
So at this point, I didn't really, so there's already a baseline established for a fresh battery in terms of how much capacity it has. And once I get to the step of using X-ray powder diffraction to look at the chemical composition, then I will compare a fresh battery that hasn't been degraded to a degraded battery to see what changes have occurred.
So Alec, do you think the lithium starts breaking down the actual chemical component within it based on hot and cold? Is that what you're basically trying to test ultimately?
Yeah, so battery is composed of several different parts, all of which can degrade over time and
Mhm.
when exposed to these conditions. And I will be looking at each part of the battery and seeing how that changes as it is degraded.
Again, very interesting research you're up to, so looking forward to hearing your update, Alec. That's terrific.
Thank you.
And it's very relevant with, everyone's got an iPhone or a phone in their pocket probably right now, which has a lithium-ion battery in it, or a bike or whatnot, right? So very relevant. Looking forward to your research as well. Thank you for sharing this.
Thank you.
There
Thank
go.
you.
Terrific, Alec.
Hello, my name is Juliana O'Neill. I'm a senior and in my 4th year of the Science Research Program here at the high school, and I'll be discussing my experience at the HSRP program at Brookhaven National Laboratory and my research characterizing microplastics and their associated heavy metals in different types of snail tissue. The High School Research Program, or HSRP, is a competitive internship at Brookhaven National Laboratory that pairs students with mentors at the lab. The program provides students with the guidance and equipment that they need to design and run their own experiments or assist their mentors with their research. I had a bit of a unique experience in this program as my mentor, Dr. Lisa Miller, allowed me to both assist in her college-level interns research, looking at the degradation of plastics by microalgae, as well as working on my own research project by giving me access to the lab's AtoMap, which is a relatively new piece of equipment at the lab that allows me to identify the different heavy metals present in my samples. So what are microplastics and why are they important to study? Microplastics are just any small plastics that range from 1 micrometer to 5 millimeters in size that can disperse from a number of sources, including the degradation of common plastic products like plastic water bottles or plastic bags. They're highly pervasive and have been found in a number of extremely remote locations, such as the depths of the ocean and even in human tissue. They've been known to absorb toxic heavy metals and harmful chemicals that can damage several organ systems in the body and can be passed through the food chain by different organisms that are exposed to them, potentially to the human level as well. So here's an example of what some of the data I collect looks like. That image in the top left is a picture of one of my microplastic samples. To the right of it, it's a little bit hard to see, but those are element maps taken from the AtoMap that show the different elements present in my plastic samples, most notably heavy metals such as nickel or lead. The image at the bottom is a spectra of the plastics taken at the laboratory's IR microscope, or FIS beamline, that I use to identify the types of plastics that each of my samples are. Cellophane was the most prominent plastic found among my samples so far.
Cellophane, you said cellophane?
Cellophane, yes.
Wow, okay, interesting.
Followed by nitrile rubber and polyamide, which indicates that plastic food packaging, motor vehicles, and fabrics are all very common sources of plastic
Wow.
pollution around the collection site.
Wow.
Additionally, the distribution of microplastics that I found in the different types of tissue I collected them from suggests that both ingestion and intake through the gills are both major mechanisms of microplastic exposure in my snail samples, and potentially other marine organisms as well.
Wow.
Going forward with this project, I'd like to continue data collection throughout the rest of the school year in order to present my work at the Long Island Science and Engineering Fair, as well as submit it to the Regeneron Student Talent Search. I'm also currently working on a manuscript, which I have plans to submit for publication in a scientific journal.
Wow. Well done. That's amazing, Juliana.
Thank you.
Got a question back on the chemicals. What was the largest chemical? You said cellophane was the plastic piece. What was the largest chemical you've seen, or?
So I don't have a way to identify different like organic chemicals associated with my plastics, but I have looked at the heavy metals, in which case iron was the most common metal associated with my plastic samples, which is good because that's not a particularly dangerous metal. It's pretty prevalent in the environment naturally.
Okay.
In terms of dangerous heavy metals, I have identified mercury, lead, and titanium in some of my samples, which can be very damaging to different organ systems like the nervous system or digestive system.
Absolutely. Very intriguing, and continued success to you. It sounds like you have a great year ahead.
Yes.
Looking forward to that, and I can't wait to hear your writing, your manuscript. Where do you submit that? Could I ask you what you're writing up, your paper? Where
Science
does it?
journal.
Does it go to a site? I was just going to ask.
Yes, a scientific journal. So
Very
I
cool.
Decide which one.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. That's where I was leaning for. Okay, very good.
We
Congratulations.
love seeing you in the newspaper. It was great. Beautiful
Thank
article.
you.
You know,
Yes.
you're, again, all three of you are focusing on huge issues for the environment, for all of us as humans, right? And what's in our environment, I guess, the environmental impact of these items in our ecosystem, really, right? Food, whatnot.
I'm
So-
looking forward to seeing your science board.
Yeah, absolutely. Congrats.
you.
Ms. Schaefer, could you remind us, how do students get involved in your program? Because I'm always intrigued, one of those things. Can you just remind
so it's
us?
an elective that students can opt into starting in their freshman year if they choose. They can continue in for up to 4 years, the way Juliana has. They can try the intro class in their 9th grade year, take a break, try some other electives, and then come back to it. I have 2 students who did that this year. So they're returning for their 2nd year, and one is a senior and one is a junior. It depends on the flexibility of their schedules.
Of course,
really.
okay.
So
Got it.
it's open to grades 9 through 12, which is great. And I love the fact that I've had some that are coming back after trying out other things too.
Oh,
Because
that's
I always
good.
tell my students that this is the time to try out all these different classes that we have, and we encourage our students to try as many electives as they can while they're here. So,
I just think it's a tremendous experience, and thank you for leading this effort, as
Thank
always.
you.
And thanks for bringing the students. Students, thanks for coming out tonight and sharing your studies and what you're working on this year.
And I
So-
believe, Ms. Schaefer, that you also do visit the middle school.
Yes, we do. In January, these guys actually, I
Oh,
just
neat.
chaperone them down there, but they do kind of a brief synopsis of what they've been working on to the Earth Science Honors classes down at the middle school.
Well, that's
And it gives them a
terrific.
taste of what it is that they couldn't look forward to when they're coming up to the high school. So,
Very nice.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
just to let you guys know what's coming up for us.
Oh, yeah, good.
To finish out what Juliana's saying
Yep.
about working on a manuscript, we have 2 that are currently in the works and almost
Oh,
at
wow.
the end of their publication process now. So Sasha Seletskaya, who has been working on analyzing a meteor that was donated to the Spark program for the past couple of years. So she is a solo author on a paper for a planetary journal, and she is coming towards the end of that process. And then 2 of our recent grads, Derek Blanco, who just graduated this year in 2024, and Jalal Sawas, who graduated back in 2021, have been leading the charge on the analysis of our pond sediment from our campus pond. And so they're in the final stages of preparing that manuscript as well. So we're looking to send out the sediment manuscript probably within the next couple of weeks, which is kind of
neat.
cool.
That's really terrific.
Yeah.
A lot of
And
great accomplishments.
I will be up in Syracuse in November at the Stannis Conference presenting on the Python coding with a couple of colleagues. So we'll
great.
be running a workshop for some of the science teachers up at the Stannis Conference. That'll be exciting for me too.
Absolutely. And thank you for your work, and obviously bringing the students again. Like I said, terrific.
Thank you for having us. We really
Proud
appreciate
moment.
your time.
And,
Thank
and
you.
she's she is downplaying that a little bit, but to be actually asked to come up to Stannis and actually present, which she was asked to do, is actually quite an accomplishment. And
Thank you again. Yeah, the science research, that's amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. Okay, so moving right along, we have our votes and resolutions up next. Going to look for approval for our September 10th, 2024 regular public meeting minutes. May I get a motion? Megan, second Katie. Any discussions or questions? All in favor? 6-0. Approval of our August 2024 treasurer's report. May I get a motion? Jim L., Mike? Any discussion or questions? All in favor to vote? 6-0. Next up, we have our curriculum and instruction resolutions. Is it okay if I take these as a block? Okay, it's 2425, 037 through 2425, 049. Pull down to 249. I'm having paper turn issues. May I get a motion, please? Katie, second Jim L. Any discussion or questions? Yep, go ahead,
Just a
Mike.
question for 2425039, the Bionic Project Consultant Services. Is this a new assembly for the sixth grade students?
It is.
Is this something that we would be, I guess, based on the success, something that we would have every year?
Based on the success of it, yes, this is the first year that we're going to be bringing them in, but, the research that was done by the middle school administration, they're very excited about this opportunity and the work that they do with our students. So, assuming that everything goes as swimmingly as we expect it to with this presentation, it has the impact that we anticipate that it will, in really raising student awareness of just being kind to each other and supportive of each other and aware of other people with differences, then yes, we would certainly be looking to include that going forward.
And was there a particular reason it was just for sixth grade and not the entire building? Is it
Because
cost prohibited, or?
yeah, we already have programs for 7th and 8th that we bring in. We have Rob Surratt that comes in, and he is coming back again. We did his program for the first time last year, very well received, same kind of thing. We have a speed artist coming in, and so we have each grade has its own. 6th actually was the one grade that didn't have,
Okay, great.
and so now we have one for each of the grades.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions about these? All in favor? 6-0. Next up are our human resource resolutions. I have one, 2425050. May I get a motion? Jamel, Katie, second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 6-0.
I'm happy to see mock trial there.
I'm sorry?
I'm happy to see mock trial on that.
Absolutely. So that was for our new club.
Important club.
Thank you. Okay, very good. Business and operations resolutions are up next. Okay to take as a block, 2425051 through 2425058. Okay with that? Okay. May I get a motion? Henry, second Jamel. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 6-0. I think personnel's up next, right? Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion for personnel? Can you have a,
I just wanted to acknowledge,
I
you
missed
know,
something?
not miss it, just in terms of the club, we have the mock trial, but also, you had already advocated for the English Honor Society, and I just wanted to, just acknowledge that, you know, your vision for this, you'll have to communicate it with us on the board. This is the first time we were having something like this in this board's, history, so you'll have to let us know how that goes.
Got it.
And thank you for that.
Okay, great.
Sorry.
No,
to
that's
interrupt
okay.
you.
I knew you had a point. I didn't know what we were doing. May I get a motion for personnel? Mike, second Jamel. Any, excuse me, any other discussion or questions? All in favor? 6-0. Any communications, Stephanie?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any other discussion from the board? Okay. So I am going to adjourn and then.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, right, excuse me. Additional comments from residents?
Yes.
Oh, yes, thank you. That's actually what I was trying to ask you, Stephanie. That was where I was
I
going.
was
And
ready.
you said no, so I'm like, okay.
I know, I
guess
was ready
not.
for
Okay.
it, but then I was like, wait.
We'll get our queuing down.
Yes, there is one resident, Mr. Ian Price. You can take the podium.
That's fine.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, the administration. My name is Ian Price, 32 Forest Lane, Wading River. I came to address the board because I feel like time is of the essence. Specifically, it's the high school graduation date. I'm just going to move that up just a little bit. I did reach out to Mr. Briglise last week when I became aware of this, but because it's something that I think can't wait, I decided just to come and bring it up here. High school graduation has been set for June 27th, which is a Thursday.
Okay.
I have 2 daughters in the district. My older daughter is committed to the United States Naval Academy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So Navy and the Air Force Academy both have their induction day on June 26th. So any student that's going to be going to the Naval Academy or to the Air Force Academy wouldn't be able to attend their graduation. And since graduation's a pretty momentous occasion. I mean, we're talking about 13 years of their lives given towards, the process. I would love for those students to be able to attend their high school graduation,
Sure.
Especially since they're going to, serve our country. So I just wanted to come up and respectfully ask the board if this is something that I understand this is a very big ask. But I figured if I got up here early, there might be a chance. And so I respectfully ask if you could consider moving it just a few days earlier.
So, Ms. Price, thank you for sharing these comments with all of us tonight. First, I've heard of it. We'll speak to Mr. Poole, take this under consideration. You're right, it is early in the year. We do have a calendar set. I don't know if Mr. Poole wants to make any comments now, but.
Well, grateful for,
Yeah.
your child service, and certainly there's a lot of consideration, but we can go back and
We'll
take a
go back and
look
look
as
at
soon
it.
as possible.
Okay.
Right.
So
I did start going up the channels. I only came up here because
No,
I
that's
realized
fine.
earlier was better than later. So here we
No
are.
doubt. And again, you're making a request to the board that's perfectly normal. So
Okay,
thank you for
well,
doing that.
Thank you,
And,
everyone, for your time.
yeah, and
Have a
thanks
wonderful
again.
evening.
Yep, you too. Appreciate that. Okay. Now we can, I'm just kidding, Stephanie, right? Okay. May I get a motion, please? To adjourn and go to the second executive session. Do I have to read that first, Mike? Okay, thank you, Mike. You're so good to me.
Transparency. So good.
You're so good to me, Mike. May I get so getting a motion to adjourn to second exec. The reason is for personal matter related to particular person or corporation, the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. May I get a motion? Megan, second Mike. All in favor? 6-0. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thanks, Tom.
Yep, we'll get there. We'll get